America is about to kick off in the right place at the right time. The place is Barranquilla on the Caribbean coast. The time is 6 o'clock in the evening here. Midnight in Britain. The host nation Colombia coming up later against Venezuela, but the tournament begins with Ecuador against Chile, two countries who really have experienced differing fortunes of late. Basically, Ecuador have come good this year, and Chile have gone bad, very bad, Jerry Armstrong. They've lost their last 5 coming into this game. Their coach says that the spirit in the camp is good, but I think his nose might have been growing a few inches as he said it.
I think Pedro Garcia, the coach, was leaving a little bit short because they really are short of confidence, which is unlike the Ecuadorian side. We can see in the huddle there, they're really looking forward to it. They're full of confidence, and they're the favourites obviously for tonight. They're looking to continue their rich run of form, but Chile will have to find something from somewhere. Maybe they'll use the tournament to try and regain a bit of confidence. It's going to be tough tonight. He's going to find it tough as well. Sergio Vargas, the Universidad de Chile goalkeeper we just got a glimpse of.
Ecuador have had their huddle and they are almost ready. They really are having the time of their lives right now, looking to make it to the World Cup finals next year and looking good to make it to Japan and South Korea. They did of course manage a first ever win over Brazil in March. Mind you, beating Brazil is not as hard as it once was. Their squad, unlike a lot of the others, is not really that weakened, and they are unbeaten in 6 games so far this year. Chile have blown their hopes of making it to the World Cup finals. They're going for a really rough time, but they'll be ready to give it a real good go here and to make an impression on this tournament. The Bolivian referee René Ochuba gets the 2001 Copa America underway. The South American Festival of Football will last for the best part of 2.5 weeks. Argentina may be missing, but there is still some tremendous talent on show, and we're guaranteed some fabulous football. This is the first game, the last one, the final. We played on Sunday the 29th of July, and, well, maybe not Chile, but Ecuador certainly fancy their chances of making that final.
Yeah, as I said earlier, Ian, I feel that they're one of the sides that could cause a big upset, and there's an upset there. I think he went down very easily. Reinaldo Navia, the referee's giving him the benefit of the doubt. A bit of pressure being applied from Ivan Hurtado. The first opportunity, it looks like it's going to come Chile's way.
Well, what they would give for a dream start here against Ecuador, who go into the game as favourites. Everybody jostles for position. But Hurtado was on the end of the free kick from Osorio, and that one goes straight through to Ibarra.
Surprised, Ian, he was first choice, because we weren't sure if he was going to start the game. We were talking about it earlier, whether Ibarra would play or if it was going to be Ceballos. They've opted for Ibarra.
Here's the veteran Aguinaga, who will certainly try and pull the strings for Ecuador, as he has done for the best part of a decade. Supporters of Hibernian in Scotland would quite like to know, I guess, that their new player, Ulysses de la Cruz, is wearing number 4 for them, and he's about to get a touch right on cue. Wish it happened like that all the time.
You set that up, didn't you?
I wish.
Oh,
cheaply given away, and given away to Villaseca. Chile have settled in quite nicely. Osorio finding Mauricio Aros. Tries to skip away from Charla with some success too. Delgado, wearing 11 for Ecuador, is very much their main goal threat. He's been in fine form in that respect in the World Cup qualifiers, so watch out for him. is Mendes. Charlotte found his route blocked by Ricardo Rojas. Here is De La Cruz, plays at right back, although it'll be a right wing back for him, so I suspect in Scotland. He doesn't look too bad, does he? Decent delivery. But a bit of a miscue in the end from Tenorio.
Tell you what, the Hibs fans must be licking their lips. That's a great piece of play from Ulises De La Cruz down the right-hand side, and a good ball into the box.
Well, the Hibs manager, Alex McLeish, has a pretty good record in the transfer market, pretty shrewd when it comes to getting signings on the cheap, or comparatively on the cheap, although he did cost a few £100,000, De La Cruz, and destined to be a bit of a hit, I think, in the Scottish Premier League in the coming season. He certainly made an immediate impact there, but here he has to watch as Navia tries to sort something out for Chile, and this is Rodrigo Núñez. De La Cruz got a toe in there.
Great. The referee tried to wave the advantage to let the play continue, but there is a player down. I think it's Navia, but he's back on his feet, and the referee's given the free kick.
This is the 40th Copa America. Edison Mendes riding one challenge, but two proved to be too much, although the whistle has gone now. It'll be a free kick for Chile. And it'll be taken for them by Villaseca eventually. Luis Fuentes, number 5, a late call-up. Because of the short notice that a lot of the squads were given when the tournament was put back on, there were 1 or 2 withdrawals. Some players have gone off holiday, others weren't to be found anywhere. Osorio. Aros seeking out Montesinos, who's the big striker up front. Here's Aguinaga, though, always calm and composed. And I suppose that there aren't that many who are in South American football.
Yeah, but he is a playmaker in the middle of the park. Apart from the ponytail, he can actually play. He's got a great range of passes and good skill and technique, and he'll be probing and looking for avenues and angles to get in behind the Chilean defence.
This is Charlotte trying to open up Chile, and he has assistance from Fernandez. Looking to get on the end of that was the main goal threat, Agustin Delgado, who's got 8 goals in 12 World Cup qualifying games, which is rather impressive, to say the least.
Well, the coach Hernan Dario Gomez looked pretty relaxed on the bench there.
It's actually a big tournament for him because he is Colombian and worked with their national team for a long time. It's going to be an emotional night for Gomez on Saturday when he comes up against Colombia. Here's Aguinaga. Might go it alone here, took a little deflection, but it's not quite going to go for the corner. Vargas made sure of that. Maldonado rather felt that he should have gone his way. Here's Aguinaga. And Delgado with a neat little turn and a neat little try for a goal.
And he's the man that looks most likely to be scoring for Ecuador.
Navia. Down goes Rodrigo Núñez. Didn't seem to do an awful lot in the challenge, but Chile do have the free kick, just clipped.
We haven't mentioned, Ian, that Caviedes, the Ecuadorian, he's a big star, and he's unavailable, he's injured. But certainly in Agustin Delgado, they've got a very, very good replacement. As you said earlier, what was it, 8 goals in 10, 12 World Cup qualifiers? That is a very good record.
Yeah, we were looking forward to seeing Caviedes, who plays his football in Spain with Valladolid, but typically had a great end of the season in Spain.
He had
as
a
well,
fantastic end of the season, and unfortunately he picked up an injury.
And he picked up that injury in their last game before this tournament, a friendly in the USA against Honduras, who of course have actually joined the tournament now. So no Caviedes, but Delgado certainly looks a bit useful up front for them, as his goal record proves. Osorio. Rodrigo Núñez. Will be a free kick. Ecuador and Chile both seeking their first ever triumph in the Copa America. No goals so far in Barranquilla. This is actually the most modern stadium in Colombia. It was only built in 1986. Ecuador have a free kick. Unbeaten so far this year in 6 games. And one of those games, a rather famous victory over Brazil, their first ever. And we are likely to see them at the World Cup next year. But we won't see Chile there. They've made a bit of a hash of qualifying. Espinosa let it run. Ecuador performed miserably at the last Copa America in 1999. They were the second worst team there. I don't think that'll happen again. They've improved greatly since then. Stringing together a neat move here with Delgado involved, and Charla too, and now Fernandez. Oh dear, keep that one down.
Well, first thing I'm noticing here, Ian, is that Chile are playing a sweeper and trying to play 3 at the back and push on the wing backs, and it's leaving space in both flanks at right back and left back position. And just a little breakdown of communication. I saw Pedro Reyes stepping up, thought he was playing him offside, and there was a player dropped off behind him, and that's something they're going to have to be careful of.
Ecuador in their last 4 matches have had 4 players sent off, by the way, but that's probably a pretty good disciplinary record in South America.
And they went on and won the last game with players missing.
Montesinos sent it in, and Navia poked it towards goal and very nearly gave Chile the lead.
Oh, fantastic ball into the box from Montesinos, and he does get across the defender. He gets that little toe poke, Reinaldo Navia, and that was almost the opening goal.
Ibarra certainly came to Ecuador's rescue then, and he might need to here. A real scare for Ecuador. 2 good chances in the space of that minute.
That's a decent ball in swinger. And again, Chile get that header on, well, not on target, but in front of the Ecuadorian defence. And they're renowned for their solid defence, Ecuador, and looking a little bit, once or twice, a little bit vulnerable.
Hurtado wearing 3, who's very much a regular in the international team and has been for quite a few years now. Edison Mendez, who got a goal and a red card in a 2-1 win over Peru in Lima last month in a World Cup qualifier. This is Edwin Tenorio, who also collects a few yellow cards. De La Cruz, the new boy for Hibs in Scotland.
He likes to get forward in, doesn't he? Okay, played a little 1-2, went for the return, shows a good turn of pace. Alex will be happy with him. And you wonder what he's like when it's snowing and -3.
And that's just in July.
In July, yeah.
Charla. Well, De La Cruz, incidentally, might miss the start of the Scottish season if Ecuador do well and make it to the final, because the final is the day after the Scottish season kicks off.
That's a clumsy challenge on Charla.
This is Fernandez. He gets a second bite. Doesn't get a free kick, although he felt he should have. That was asking a bit much of Maldonado. Tenorio. Here is De La Cruz, who has caught the eye already. And he's catching the eye now, once more. Well, he's run into trouble, but I think Hibs have got themselves a rather decent player there. Aros, wearing 14 for Chile, making his first appearance in the international team this year. Chile, of course, ruining the absence of the legendary Zamorano, who's retired, and Marcelo Salas is injured. No Javier Margas either, the former West Ham player, of course, so some really important players no longer available to them. In fact, I do believe they tried to talk Zamorano out of retirement, as I suppose you would, but I think he's made up his mind.
Still a quality player, you know.
Rodrigo Núñez. And it is kept in, but it's promptly given straight back. This is Osorio, busy little midfielder, plays his football in Argentina. Pedro Reyes. Chile have beaten Ecuador in 9 of their previous 11 meetings in the Copa America. Just one win for Ecuador, and one of the games was drawn, but maybe Ecuador can improve on that rather depressing record against Chile. Certainly favourites here, but Chile are a team wounded at the moment by a desperate run in the year 2001. They've lost their last 5 games. Here is De La Cruz, looking to make things happen again. No end product that time, but once again, he had Chile on the back foot.
Tell you what, he's been the most impressive player in the first half. He might be done as a right back, but he can get forward, good pace, cuts inside on his left foot, doesn't really get a hold of it, but he's frightening the life out of this Chilean defence.
Well, I suspect he'll be used as a right wing back at Hibs by Alice McLeish, and he's certainly going to bomb down that line a bit in Scotland. Here's Rodrigo Núñez for Chile, no goals in the opening game of the 2001 Copa America. Aguinaga. Delgado got the better of Pedro Reyes. Delgado, who plays in Mexico with Necaxa. This is Charla. Cannoned off Osorio. Ecuador can try another route. This is not a bad route to try. Ulysses De La Cruz, little dummy, and Delgado got rather crowded out. I'm sure we'll see a few tricks during the course of this tournament. It's away by Aros, but it's only come to De La Cruz, already proving to be a danger man. I knew he'd go and do that, I said that. Gave it away, but once again, he was there or thereabouts.
Kiss of death, isn't it, you?
Commentator's curse. Ecuador were actually involved in the highest scoring match in the history of this illustrious competition, although they didn't make much of a contribution. They were beaten 12-0 by Argentina in 1942. Those sort of scorelines not likely to be repeated here. Pedro Reyes leaves it for Rodrigo Núñez. Here's Maldonado, who's wearing 3 for Chile. Very much a bright young thing. Big prospect, 21 years of age. Montesinos. Big burly 6-foot striker. Talking of big burly strikers.
Well, he was well and truly clattered on that occasion by Clever Chala. I think he did the right thing. He's won the free kick and they've taken it quickly.
Aros trying to get it in quickly. It was blocked. It's going to be a corner off Chala. This match kicking off Group A. Very sporting.
That's a nice little touch, isn't it?
Aros. Sorio's corner. Keeper came to have a look. Pedro Reyes. Chile putting the pressure on, but a rather high boot, I think, from Navia.
I do like the spectacular here in South America. That's a good run.
Ecuador on the prowl again with Chala. Ecuador very much a team in form, and it certainly looks that way, as Delgado puts himself about. But Chile survive, and Aros will try dig himself out of this little corner. Delgado in close attendance. He could be here for some time. The throw will be taken by De La Cruz, who used to play for Barcelona. No, not that one. Barcelona in his homeland. De La Cruz delivers, but that will be a comfortable catch for Sergio Vargas. The goalkeeper is the oldest member of the Chilean squad. It's Ecuador 0, Chile 0. The 2001 Copa America underway, and there was a time not so long ago where we didn't think we'd be saying that. Hurtado. Tenorio. Chile, incidentally, were the first to arrive in Colombia for the tournament. Rather keen to get going. But a lot of the teams taking part actually called off games they were going to play as warm-up matches for the tournament when they thought the tournament wasn't going to take place, although Ecuador, interestingly enough, went ahead with theirs, so perhaps a little better prepared. They played 2 games in America. In New York and Miami, they beat El Salvador 1-0 and drew 1-1 with Honduras. It's a foul from Gueron.
Chile have not done badly, and I mean, for the side that's lost their last 5 games, they've certainly come out with a lot of spirit, caused 1 or 2 problems, and look comfortable on the ball. There's not a lot to choose between the 2 sides at the moment.
This is Marco Villaseca. Luis Fuentes, who came into the squad rather late because of injuries, and also came into the team rather late as well. Facing Núñez.
Yeah, I think he had some sort of a strain in or something like that in the warm-up, but so far Fuentes has done okay.
Reminder of the teams in the other groups. Group B, Brazil, Mexico, Paraguay and Peru. Group C, Bolivia, Uruguay, and the 2 new arrivals, Costa Rica, who replaced Canada, and Honduras. The Ecuador coach Gomez.
Yeah.
Incidentally, a couple of months ago, he was shot in the leg by a rather annoyed club president whose son had been left out of the under-20 squad going to the World Youth Championships. So, as you do, he went and shot the coach in the leg. And there was some talk that he was going to quit. Can't imagine why that should put him off. But he was actually back home in Colombia, and some of the Ecuador players travelled there, talked him out of it, and got him to return to his job.
Yeah, it's just, I was wondering why he was limping earlier on when we watched him win.
This is your average sort of story in South America, really.
I thought he picked up a knock in training.
Colombians have tried their best to give everybody a decent welcome here after all the problems leading up to the tournament. And they are so relieved that it is actually going ahead, because had they postponed it until next year, that would have been fraught with even more problems of player availability, and also, of course, the World Cup. And they delayed it to the summer. There was talk they might play it at the start of the year, but it was never really going to work. And here it is, happening now. This the opening game, no goals between Ecuador and Chile. Colombia and Venezuela to come up, and also the opening ceremony to come up as well, which is supposed to be a rather spectacular event by all accounts. That's what they always tell us with opening ceremonies.
Well, you're looking forward to it because you heard there's 900 dancers involved in it. That's what it is.
Here's Osorio for Chile. He's looking to put Ronaldo Navia away, and it was just poked away from him.
It's our first sight of Pedro Garcia, and he must be quite content with how his side has opened in the opening game. Certainly showing no signs of nerves or their previous defeats.
Navia. Rojas. Osorio. Referee not interested in that little collision between Tenorio and Rodrigo Núñez. And here's De La Cruz. Now Hurtado. His colleague at the back is Espinosa, and this is Guerron, wearing 6, who quite fancies a free kick or two, I'm told. Tenorio. Looking for the strikers, Delgado and Fernandez.
What is it with left backs all fancy the free kicks? Roberto Carlos, Stuart Pearce. It's amazing, isn't it?
Just because you think all strikers should take free kicks.
They wouldn't let me anywhere near a free kick.
Well, Ecuador didn't do very well at the last Copa America, but Chile did. They came 4th. Chile, in fact, won bronze at the Olympics last year as well, and a lot of the players who participated in that are involved in this. Edison Mendez to Guerron. Pedro Reyes, the captain of Chile. Osorio, who likes to see plenty of the ball. Here is Maldonado. Aros. Montesinos. 2 to contend with, and it's bounced off Hurtado. Now Chile might fancy their chances of making something happen here.
Actually a good play from Montesinos. He got himself in between the fullback De La Cruz and Ivan Hurtado. Won the corner kick, and they've caused problems on corner kicks before. Liam, a little in-swinger to the near post, glancing header. Let's see, have Ecuador learned any lessons from that last one?
Osorio is the man who sends it in. I think it was Hurtado who beat his keeper to it. Fernandez. Now it might open up here for Ecuador. Chala. Chile launching another assault, but not much of an assault. It's a comfortable catch for Giovanni Ibarra in the Ecuador goal, and unusually in the Ecuador goal because Jose Ceballos is the first choice. Well, after these two have finished, and after the opening ceremony, Colombia, the host nation, begin their campaign against Venezuela. It's coming up a little later tonight. Just gone 6:30 in the evening in Barranquilla.
Well, this is the first free kick really of any note for Ecuador. And Alex Aguinaldo's looking to whip this one in with his right foot. And Delgado, no doubt, will be the danger man.
Well, for the best part of a decade, Aguinaldo has made Ecuador tick, but his free kick comes to nothing. And in fact, leading the charge out is Aros. And now, Ronaldo Navia, who scored 4 goals at the Olympics last year. And also up there is Montesinos. And this is neat from Chile, and Navia! And Chile strike first in the 2001 Copa America. It's Ronaldo Navia.
It was a smashing move, I've got to say, from a free kick at the other end, which was very poorly taken by Alex Aguinaldo in. They swept away very quickly. Good ball into space for Montesinos, Christian Montesinos. He held the ball up well and fed Ronaldo Navia, who was supporting, and it was a wonderful finish. And there's the little layoff for Montesinos, right foot, and the goalkeeper starts to move the wrong way for me, a little bit early. Ibarra, that's a poor goal to concede, but Chile have looked threatening.
Well, it all stemmed as well from Aguinaldo's
very poor. I mean, that's what happens in football. They've got everybody forward. Poor free kick from Aguinaldo, and counter-attack straight up the other end, and they're 1-0 down.
Well, a goal that could be considered a bit of a shock, bearing in mind Chile's desperate record coming into this tournament. 5 straight defeats. No Zamorano, no Salas, no Margus. But it's they who have struck first and certainly given Ecuador something to think about. And it all came from that free kick for Ecuador. An amazing charge out from Chile, and they lead by 1-0. Delgado looking for a quick response, but here's Osorio. Maldonado, Rodrigo Núñez, just cut out by Espinosa, but only just.
I tell you what, he needed to cut it out as well. Super piece of play. It looked very incisive on the counter-attack, Chile. And no signs, as we said early on, of the fact that they'd lost 5 in a row and come in with virtually no confidence at all into the tournament. And a very bright start. Let's see what Ecuador can do in response.
Here's Edison Mendez, just 22 years of age, and he's put it through to Delgado, takes it in his stride just about, but then sends it into the side netting. So nearly, though, an equaliser for Ecuador, and perhaps he might have made more of it.
Well, it's criminal. He's missed it at the near post, and this is a guy who's on fire. They made 8 goals in 12 World Cup qualifiers, and you don't miss it at the near post, Ian. You've got to put it across the goalkeeper, at least force a save from him. Great ball it was from Edison Mendez as well, we got to say. And there's the goal, the opening goal. You can see the goalkeeper slightly wrong-footed. He's moving across to his right. That's a clean strike from Navia.
We did mention that Navia was in fine form at the Olympics. Got 4 goals last year as Chile picked up a bronze medal. A few bronze medals. He likes shaking hands with the ball boy, doesn't he?
In case of luck, they're going to score another goal.
Cheaply given away by Gueron. Will he be made to pay for it? Osorio. have been about 30-40 seconds, I'd have thought, from the time Aguinaga took a free kick for Ecuador at one end to the time that Navia fired Chile in front.
Well, we're looking for Aguinaga to be an influence for the Ecuadorian side. He's been pretty disappointing for me so far. Nobody been more disappointed than him with the free kick, because, as you said, Ian, it resulted in Chile's opening goal.
De la Cruz. Ecuador so far this year have beaten Brazil, Paraguay and Peru in World Cup qualifying games. They really are a team in form, but they are a team behind at the moment to a side who are very much out of form, Chile. Footballer, you can never work it out.
Yep. I've given up trying to work it out, Ian.
Chala taking a more direct route, looking for Delgado this time, but out comes Sergio Vargas, who recently had to face a penalty, by the way, from a fellow keeper, the one and only Jose Luis Chilavert. Took a penalty for Paraguay against him, but Vargas actually saved it.
He don't miss too many penalties, Jose Luis Chilavert. Over 30 goals he scored in his career.
Not bad for a keeper.
Be happy to score 30 goals as a striker, Ian.
Gerard will take this throw. Ecuador surprisingly trailing in the opening match of the 2001 Copa America. It's going to be a free kick for a foul on the goal scorer Navia by Espinosa. Chile will be more than content with the way things are going so far. Bearing in mind their woeful year so far. Who needs Zamorano and Salas? Well, at the moment anyway, they're doing okay with that.
Well, they've done really well. I've been impressed with them, and as we said, as soon as you make Ecuador favourites, Chile come out and show what they're made of, and have played really well in this opening half. Had 2 or 3 decent chances before they actually got the goal, and now it's Ecuador trying to find a way back into the game.
It's taken off the toes of Edison Mendes though by Villaseca. Here's Pedro Reyes, the captain. Reyes incidentally scored twice in the 1999 Copa America. Only Zamorano got more goals for Chile, as they had quite a good tournament. Certainly I suppose the pressure is off them here. They're not expected to do much at all, but they are leading Ecuador, and Angel Fernandez is trying to do something about that. But Rodrigo Núñez wrestled it away from him. Montesinos now. Hurtado and Espinosa deal with it between them. And here's Aguinaga, who's really got to start sorting things out for Ecuador.
Seem to be a little bit disjointed. They're not playing as a team, giving the ball away cheaply. And you can't do that against this Chilean side, because they've got some very good players in the counter-attack. Now, hold on a minute.
It's Fernandez bearing down on goal. Oh, he's just overrun it, I think. Yes, he has. And a promising situation comes to nothing.
You can see Pedro Garcia just getting annoyed. He said that's the second time it's happened. You've given the ball away cheaply. And there is space in those two flanks, because as I said earlier, Ian, Chile's playing 3 at the back, you know, with Pedro Reyes, Claudio Maldonado, and Luis Fuentes. And you can't afford to give the ball away cheaply.
Yeah, he was shouting at Reyes then, I think, but his captain probably pretended he couldn't hear. Although he probably couldn't hear anyway, because there is a rather decent atmosphere inside the stadium.
All right.
Luis Osorio, who's looked lively, that took a deflection. It will be corner, I suspect.
Busy little midfield player. Skipped past one, challenging, cracked one, took a deflection. Looked as if it was on target as well. And they've gained in confidence gain, you know, because they've actually started off quite well, and you don't see many of those. That's an owl. To it, to who? Right on top of the stadium.
Chile hoping to put the pressure on from another Osorio corner, and certainly they who are looking the wiser at the moment, leading Ecuador through a goal from Ronaldo Navia. That one won't cause Ecuador too many problems though, but a few questions are being asked of them here. I wonder if they will have the answers. This man might. Hibernians, De La Cruz. We're seeing a lot of him in Scotland in the coming season. Fuentes. Mendes. Espinosa. Now Ivan Hurtado. He was actually one of the players who went to Colombia to persuade Coach Gomez to continue in charge after he was shot in the leg in that rather unfortunate incident. Aguinaga also went as well, and I think there was a real possibility that he was going to chuck it in, but they persuaded him to continue. I was going to say it was a pretty isolated incident, but I'm not really that sure if it is in South America.
South American football, it's not here. I think that's why there was a lot of concern from a lot of the players about the tournament being played in Colombia. That's why everybody's hoping that it goes really well. But again, you know, for me, Ecuador's still giving the ball cheaply. This is one of the bright lights, though, for them. De La Cruz.
Well, he did a bit in the opening few minutes, hasn't done much since, and can't quite nick it through to Fernandez. Chile sitting pretty on a 1-0 lead. So in this group, Colombia, the host nation, and Venezuela, who will be most people's tips to finish bottom of the group. Delgado. Luis Fuentes just did enough, but it is going to be a corner.
Certainly is. And again, a mistake, an error from one side allows the other side to get straight back at them, and Delgado's the last person you want to give the ball away to. I just do feel if anybody's going to cause problems for Chile, it's him. Let's see, can Aguinaga improve on his delivery?
Ecuador looking for an equaliser. Alex Aguinaga sends it in. Pedro Reyes, not a very convincing header, and it might drop yet for Chala. It's headers all round, really. It all came to nothing for Ecuador. Once again, Chile charging upfield with Osorio. They're not hanging around. But Hurtado not too troubled by the presence of Navia, whose goal is separating the sides here in Barranquilla on the Caribbean coast of Colombia, which means it's blimmin' hot and humid. Edison Mendes. Aguinaga. Gueron advancing. Very sloppy from him though, he gave it straight to Villaseca. Plays his football for one of Chile's most famous clubs, Colo Colo. Not to be confused with the fizzy drink of a similar name.
You'll be getting crazy stuff sent for the post now, won't you?
Here's Aros. Montesinos. Forced into a corner by Hurtado. De La Cruz is there too, and between them, they get it away. Quite happening for them, is it?
No, it isn't, and they're relying more on individuals to create something than as a team. First half, Chile have impressed me much more as a team. Kept the ball better and on the counter-attack, constructed some really good movement, and looked like the side that had won their last 5 games instead of lost their last 5 games in. So all credit to them. and their coach Pedro Garcia.
They've only got 4 survivors, Chile, from the team that did quite well in the 1999 Copa America. So there's been a lot of changes, really, in the international squad. They're doing all right at the moment, that's for sure. Osorio. Navia, the goal scorer. This is Rodrigo Núñez. Throw in to Chile. Tenorio. Osorio. Oh, it might come through to Navia. No, he went down a little bit too easily for my liking and for Ecuador's liking and for the referee's liking.
Yeah, I think they do that though, don't they? They're very nimble to go around defenders, but suddenly when they get in the penalty area, they want to hit the deck very quickly. And I think Kleber Chala's not happy with the way he went down. It was Reinaldo Navia who took the tumble. Here's Fernandez.
Fernandez taking on Pedro Reyes, but losing his way. Aros to Montesinos. This is Maldonado, one of the best prospects in Chilean football. Oscar Moises not really coming to much for Chile. Now Aguinaga. Fernandez with a bit of space. Aguinaga's arriving. He was looking for a return, but it needed to come a little bit earlier than that. Delgado not giving up yet, though. 1 minute of added on time in this first half, as Ecuador once again rather wasted the opportunity that came their way.
Sergio Vargas, the Chilean goalkeeper, getting a little bit animated. I think he wanted more pressure applied on Agustin Delgado when the ball came into the box, and looking for them to close him down quicker than that.
Tenorio. Espinosa had a bit of a problem with his boot, but he's okay now. Gueron for Fernandez. Delgado waiting in the middle, and Chala was arriving as well. Ecuador looking for an equaliser before half-time. Can they make a bit from this corner?
Improve on the delivery. The last one was flighted too high, not enough pace on it.
Still wasn't great from Aguinaga, but it's... Oh, there's no time to take the other corner because René Urtube brings the first half to a close in Barranquilla, and it's a bit of a surprising scoreline at half-time. It's Ecuador 0, Chile 1. Welcome back to Barranquilla, where Chile lead Ecuador by a goal to 0, and that's a bit of a turn-up for the books. And there's the goal scorer, slightly obscured by his goalkeeper, Ronaldo Navia, who formed a very useful partnership with Ivan Zamorano at the Olympics last year. Although Zamorano is no longer around, Navia is certainly making the most of his opportunity. Now, Ecuador have made a change, which has seen the arrival of a midfield man, Alfonso Obregon, who has actually been pretty much a regular in their World Cup qualifying campaign, but was left on the bench for the start of this contest. But their coach, Dario Gomez, obviously deciding that they needed to take some sort of action. Ecuador fancied to win this one, but struggling at the moment. It's they who start the second half.
I think they need to find something from somewhere, Ian. They've not been the better side in the first half. Chile certainly have. They're in the lead, and all the questions are going to be asked of Ecuador. And let's see what sort of a response we can get from Ecuador. I'm sure they've had a rollicking from the coach, Hernan Dario Gomez.
Here's Gueron. Obregon the sub, but that one's cleared by Moises. Oh, Navia nearly getting in, but Hurtado remained calm.
Certainly did, but you can't afford as the last man to lose possession there, and that's all I think Chile would need, and if they score a second goal, I'm sure that's going to wrap it up for them. But all the pressure and all the questions, that's a good ball.
Guinaga looking for Gueron, but it's Pedro Reyes who comes across to cover for Chile. Who, as we've mentioned tonight, have had a dismal build-up to this tournament. So they're really not expected to make much of an impact at all, having lost 5 games in a row and having blown their chances of making it to the World Cup next year. Ecuador, in contrast, unbeaten this year in 6 games. And here's De La Cruz, who's caught the eye, and will do in Scotland next season, maybe. And Delgado at full stretch, couldn't quite steer it in and collided with the keeper. But another chance goes beckoning for the man who normally sticks them away.
That's a tough one from Ian. He was at full stretch. He's a big lad. Little glancing here and near post, flicked it on. He was on to it in a flash, and he looks like he's going to be lively around the 6-yard box if he can get the service. But that one was a tough chance for him to take. The goalkeeper looks as if he's come out of it with a knock, Sergio Vargas.
Well, there'll be some concern for his welfare. He's actually up against Ecuador today, and he's played some of his football in Ecuador at club level. Emelec getting some of the magic spray at the moment after Delgado just caught him. And the Ecuador fans a little concerned with the way things have gone so far in the opening game of this illustrious competition.
Yeah, but they're only 1-0 down, and it's not a total disaster. They've got 45 minutes to get it right, and certainly come out with the right attitude in the second half.
He's not too impressed, is he? Sergio Vargas, but it looks like he will be able to continue.
Goalkeepers ever impressed with their defence? They're only happy when they're shouting.
He leaves the goal kick for Reyes, but it lands on the boot of Hurtado, and now De La Cruz. Villaseca. And Guinaga. Quiet first half by his standards, and a dreadful pass that time. And it's allowed Moises Villarroel to try and force his way forward, but the return left him with too much to do.
I've got to say, another poor pass from Alex Guinaga, and Villarreal almost capitalised on. Just asked a little bit too much of him. He played a little wall pass in, and there was too much pace on the ball for him to get the return. But sitting back, soaking up the pressure, and then every so often on the counter-attack, looking to see if they can steal a second and decisive goal, I think.
Ecuador currently third in the World Cup qualifying group with 5 games to play. The top 4 qualify from that group. The 5th place team go into a playoff against Australia. That could yet be Brazil. They're making hard work qualifying. But as far as this tournament is concerned, they are hoping to follow Argentina in winning the Copa America 3 times running. Argentina did that in the 40s. De La Cruz once again looking to steam down that flank. Obregon, the substitute, who's come on for Edison Mendes. Tenorio. Here is Obregon. Gueron. Tenorio. Hurtado. Fernandez. Navia didn't have too much trouble bringing that one under control. Osorio. And that will be a free kick and a yellow card as well for Tenorio. First one though.
I think it was more for Descendia because the initial challenge, the referee didn't go for it. It looked like a 50-50. And I think he said something to the referee, and the referee wasn't too happy with it. Osorio stayed down though after the challenge.
Well, he had a few moments in the first half, Luis Osorio. He's not going to get the chance to take this free kick though. Fuentes stepped in. This is the 40th Copa America. It's been around for a while now. De La Cruz, he was taken out rather crudely there, but once again he was ready to have a right old run at Chile.
Tell you what, he's great with the ball at his feet, coming forward. Doesn't matter whether he goes outside and his right foot or comes inside. Superb play from De La Cruz, and that's the only way they're going to take him down. That should have been a yellow card from Luis Fuentes, who took him out.
Well, certainly the Hibs fans in Scotland are going to love watching this guy, I think. Sergio Vargas, as you can hear, sorting out his wall. And it's Gueron who's going to hit that one. He, as we mentioned earlier, does quite like free kicks. De La Cruz, that was wonderful! And that was even better! Chile are level, and it's Ecuador are level, and it's Chala who has scored a wonderful goal for them. But De La Cruz played a prominent part, typically.
I'll tell you what, he's been superb, De La Cruz. He set it up. A lot of people would have put the cross in first time with the right foot. He checked back on the left, put a smashing ball in, but what about the finish from clever Chala? Superb execution of the overhead kick. No chance for the goalkeeper Sergio Vargas. And what a start to the second half we've got from Ecuador.
Well, that's very much what the Copa America is all about.
Well, the flamboyant, and it's just spectacular. That is a superb equaliser.
A glorious goal from Chala, and Ecuador have tied it up at one apiece.
It's just what we needed as well.
It's an intriguing contest to open the 2001 Copa America.
How much did you say Alex McLeish paid for?
700,000.
How much?
700,000, club record.
Well, he's got him very, very cheaply, and what we've seen tonight, the evidence.
Well, he does have an excellent record in the transfer market, some very shrewd signings in his time at Hibs, and he certainly got one there, that's for sure.
This boy looks superb.
I think the Hibs fans will be hoping that Ecuador don't make it to the final, because otherwise he would miss the start of the Scottish season.
Well, if he plays like that this coming season in Scotland, they're in for a treat, aren't they?
Full credit too for Chala, who has set the standard as far as goal scoring is concerned in this tournament.
Certainly one of the contenders for the best goal.
Aguinaga. loses Villarreal. Maldonado entangled with Tenorio. Free kick goes in favour of Ecuador's number 20. Aguinaga. Off Delgado, but comfortably through to Vargas. And here they go again, Ecuador. Delgado goes to ground, but he was never going to get a penalty for that.
He was eating the sandwich, I think. He was certainly going for it. He's a big lad, he's strong in the air. You see the celebration again from Charla.
Here is De La Cruz, already making a huge impact on the 2001 Copa America. I'm sure there'll be plenty of managers watching these games, looking out for a bargain or two. And one thing's for sure, most of the players on show can play a bit.
Certainly can. Much better football the second half now from Ecuador, keeping possession a lot more, certainly putting them under a lot of pressure.
Disappointing delivery that time.
Shame about the cross, isn't it? But again, coming forward with real purpose now, and certainly the team talk, the pep talk from Hernan Gomez, that's just spectacular. That is superb. And that's what it's all about.
Chile considering making a change. Valenzuela is warming up for them. He's a midfielder. Gueron. Tenorio bundled over by Aragon, and a free kick for Ecuador, currently 44th in the FIFA World Rankings, even though they've had a great year. Bizarrely, Chile have had a desperate year, the 35th, but then even Albert Einstein might have struggled to figure out the point system for the FIFA World Rankings.
He gave up trying.
Not sure they really count for much. Here's Gueron.
Well, France are top of it now.
That probably counts for something, to be fair.
Well, world and European champions. Although when they were world champions, they weren't actually top, because Brazil were still top.
Which kind of sums it all up, really. Navia. He has got the better of De La Cruz. The scorer of Chile's goal was looking to turn provider. Espinosa towards Delgado, but here's Osorio. Chile, and that's not a bad strike at all from Christian Montesinos, but Ibarra didn't look too concerned by it in the end.
Interesting if somebody had followed it up, and he didn't hold on to it.
Here goes that man again, De La Cruz, and he slips it through the flag going at that time, but once again, Ecuador in a menacing mood.
I wasn't sure he was offside. That looked really, really tight. But De La Cruz is superb. He really is getting forward every opportunity. Good advantage.
Aguinaga. I have to say that Alex McLeish of Hibs did pretty well to sign De La Cruz before this tournament, because he's already caught the eye. I'm sure some of the watching managers.
Hibs had scouts in South America. Just shows you, nets wide and far. And this is a shot from Montesinos, and you can see there he doesn't quite hold on to it, Ibarra, but nobody following up the rebound.
Ecuador and Chile locked together at 1 apiece. Colombia, the host nation, coming up later against Venezuela, and the opening ceremony coming up as well. The opening ceremony coming up after the opening game, which is a bit strange, but then I'm not about to argue with them in South America. Aguinaga doing enough. He's looked a bit more up for it this half.
I think they have definitely been shaken up at half-time. You can see there Aguinaga just coming in, leaning on Villarreal. He goes down clutching his face. I don't think there's too much wrong with him, Ian, but we get a lot of theatrics here, don't we?
Oh, really?
Just one or two. Take the theatrics as long as we get the spectacular overhead kicks and excellent play.
Here's De La Cruz, who set up the spectacular overhead kick for Chala. Aguinaga, who's just passed his 33rd birthday, a couple of days ago, in fact. Tenorio. De La Cruz looking for the return. He gets it too. He's hanging in there. Oh, just whipped away from him by Rojas. But there's a real buzz amongst the Ecuador fans when Ulises De La Cruz gets the ball, and Ecuador here get a corner.
Well, he's the difference between the sides at the minute, I think, on this right-hand side. When he wasn't involved in the first half, that 20-25 minutes in, that's when Chile got on top. And now the second half, he's really pushing forward.
Some big boys to aim for, that is for sure. As Ecuador seek to turn it around, Delgado trying to get on the in on the end of that. Going to be another corner.
Certainly was. It was deflected off of the defender's head, but just want to see a little bit more pace on the delivery, the cross, and see if they can whip one in with a lot of venom. It looks like Ecuador are going to make the first change in.
This is Wellington Sanchez, who's going to come on soon, but not before this corner is taken. Delgado once again the target, but Chile deal with him. And now the whistle's gone, and I suspect Ecuador, well, maybe not just yet, ready to make that change anyway.
Referee spotted it now.
Well, it's going to be Aguinaga who's coming off. The captain, the veteran, the 33-year-old, is being replaced and handing the captain's armband over to Ivan Hurtado. Aguinaga off, and Wellington Sanchez comes on.
Los Años, the years maybe catching up with him.
Well, for the best part of 10 years, he has been a real presence for Ecuador. And he's replaced in a straight swap, really, by Wellington Sanchez, wearing 21, or Willie Sanchez, as he prefers to be known. Obviously gave the name Wellington the boot. Here's Montesinos. And it's going to come to Moises Villarreal, who hit that pretty firmly, but it was comfortably covered, I guess, by Ibarra.
Certainly was, but struck it well and hit the target. That's all you can ask of him. Forced to save from the goalkeeper. Angle was tight.
Chile are going to bring on Valenzuela at long last. He'll be warming up for about 15 minutes.
Yes, it's just after half time he came out. He's been warming up. Just wondering who they're going to take off. We should find out. Well,
he's going to take the place of Maldonado, who's just 21 years of age and reckoned to have a very good future. Actually plays his football in Brazil. Not a bad place to play, I suppose. Sao Paulo. But he's off, and on comes Rodrigo Valenzuela. De la Cruz. Ecuador did reach the quarterfinals of the Copa America in '97, but they've never really been big stars at this tournament now.
He's not happy with that one, the referee.
Difficult. Oh. So I think that'll be another free kick.
This is what we were talking about it earlier, Ian. You know, the discipline side of it, and another yellow card, 2 yellow cards in succession, and Chala picks that one up there, and that's just so cynical.
Osorio. Navia putting himself about. There's Chala, who's just got a card to match the colour of his shirt in the main. Gueron. Here's Willie Sanchez. Chala, scorer of a wonderful overhead kick. Sanchez delivers, and Pedro Reyes had to deal with that. Fernandez trying to get in, but Aros not letting him. And he's got the goal kick.
Oh, good work from Delgado here.
Looks pretty useful, doesn't he, Delgado? And his record suggests as much as well. He plays
so powerful, isn't he? Strong and quick and good in the air.
He plays in Mexico at the moment with Necaxa. He's actually the man who scored their famous winner against Brazil in March as well, so he's gone down in the history of football in Ecuador. This man might do as well. Also in the history of Hibernian in Scotland. De la Cruz. Reyes. Chile getting a little too casual for their own good. Here's Sanchez. He might go for goal, but it's a rather tame effort in the end, straight through to Vargas.
Vargas said back passes will be gratefully accepted.
Well, this is the opening match of the Copa America. Coming up a little later, the opening ceremony, and then the host nation, Colombia, play Venezuela. And certainly Colombia will be fancied to win that. But we will see. It's coming up. Ecuador and Chile still battling it out in Barranquilla for the first 3 points of the tournament, but at the moment they're both heading for a solitary point, one apiece. Valenzuela just on as a sub, leaves it for Mauricio Aros. Osorio. Rojas. Pedro Reyes, who's with Auxerre in France, but they didn't have that great a season, finished in mid-table. He's taken a more direct route there, but it might be a profitable route for Aros. Got the better of De La Cruz that time, but still nothing doing. Delgado. Obregon. Tenorio. Chala leaves it. This is Gueron. Sanchez. Tenorio. Free kick for the foul by Obregon on Valenzuela. 2 substitutes involved. And another substitute about to join the fray as well. Chala. Delgado. Here, though, is Osorio for Chile. Cut out by Obregon, and maybe Ecuador can create something here. Then again, maybe not. Chala, their goal scorer, caught in possession. It's all pretty evenly matched at the moment, in more ways than just the scoreline.
Well, it seems to have balanced itself out again, because Chile's come right back into the game after a very dominant opening 10-12 minutes from Ecuador. But hold on a minute, here's Fernandez.
Decent defending from Pedro Reyes, and was that a handball?
He looked a handball to me. It was right in front of the referee. He didn't give it.
Aros. Ronaldo Navia. Montesinos now. Promising perhaps for Chile. But Valenzuela couldn't quite return it. Osorio comes to have a look. Moises Villarroel. Montesinos struck it superbly!
Goal.
A glorious goal! Out of nowhere! But isn't that just typical of the sort of goals we'll see in the Copa America? Christian Montesinos has put Chile 2-1 up, and how?
God, what a strike. And he's taken the applause. I'll tell you what, that is just a fantastic goal. And doesn't he know it as well? Oh, that just came straight out of thin air from nothing. Well, he gets time to set himself up for it. Maybe he should have been closed down quicker, but what a strike. And look at the vicious swerve on the ball to restore the lead for Chile. Unbelievable strike for more than 30 yards in.
Well, the last 2 goals have been a bit dull, haven't they?
I'll tell you what, if the rest of the goals in the tournament are as good as the last 2, I think we'll be very, very pleased. Just didn't look as if there was any danger, did there?
Well, the Copa America has certainly announced its arrival. Wonderful overhead kick from Chala to equalise for Ecuador. A stupendous strike from Montesinos to put Chile back in front. Rest assured, there'll be more goals like that to come over the next 2.5 weeks or so. Here's Delgado. Ecuador have got to bounce back again, but this man is capable of great things. He has Sanchez on hand. Tenorio. De La Cruz. It's over the head of Delgado. Espinosa is having a problem with Corrales, who's come on for Chile. Well, it is by no means the strongest Copa America in history, but not so you'd notice so far.
It's been good. It's been good quality football played in and some fantastic goals.
There goes De La Cruz again.
I don't think we've seen the end of them either. It looks like you're going to see Ecuador coming back again. Just look at the strike and look at the movement on the ball. The keeper, no chance.
Certainly not the camera out. A knockout strike by Montesinos. But Ecuador have been hit back again. They've done it before. And styled themselves. Cruz delivers. There's Corrales, who's scored a few goals in the league in Chile. Valenzuela taking it up, and Chile looking for another one now.
Oh.
Well, the confidence surging through the team. They're not afraid to have a go, and Corrales, having just come on, rather determined to make a name for himself straight away.
Wasn't afraid to have a pop. Dipped late, but not enough to test the goalkeeper. Oh, we've already seen one spectacular goal from outside the area from Chile. Are we going to see another one?
Fernandez for Jala. Well, that was a little bit loose.
Certainly was loose and short.
Foot in there, though, didn't he?
He's already been booked as well.
Oh, he's off. It's a red card for Jala, who was on a yellow, and for lunging in there, he's sent off, and Ecuador's problems increase. They're down to 10 men.
Yes, you can see why. He's got the studs up. The ball was short. It did tempt him in, but he did follow through. And as we said at the start of the game, the referee, Reni Ortube, no nonsense, sent him off straight away.
Well,
they have a history of it, Ian, haven't they?
Yeah, that's 5 red cards in their last 5 games now. At least they're keeping up their average.
Absolutely.
Ecuador.
Consistency level.
But I think I could safely say it won't be the last red card of the Copa America.
I think that quite a few people would agree with you on that, including me.
David Henriquez is going to come on for Chile.
Well, it looks as if it can't continue.
Well, they want to make the change now. So Ecuador trailing 2-1 and down to 10 men. And you were saying earlier, in fact, Jerry, before we came on air, that one problem for Ecuador, who I strongly fancied to win the tournament, which I knew would be the case of death for a start, but one problem for them might be their temperament.
That's what I said to you at the start. I think they've come in with good form, but I do question their temperament. They have a lot of players being sent off. Very competitive. They're a competitive side, but that's another side of the nature that disappoints. And with the strict referees we've got here in South America, you can be sure they're going to get players sent off. That was a silly challenge from them, though.
Well, Tenorio and Delgado are also on yellow cards, so they've got to be careful too. Charlo will be a bit of a loss to them, as Henriquez finally makes his way into the action, taking the place of Moises Villarreal. Henriquez actually celebrates his birthday tomorrow. He'll be 24. And what a way to celebrate if Chile manage to hang on here and pick up their first 3 points of the tournament. He plays in Chile for Colo-Colo. Sanchez. Ecuador down to 10 men, but not finished yet. Fernandez trying to slip it through to Delgado, didn't reach him though. Here's Corrales. Henriquez getting his first touches. And here's another of the substitutes, Valenzuela, and another one, Corrales. But all 3 subs combined to little effect in the end. Delgado was lurking. Osorio. This would be some result for Chile, you know. They've had a woeful year, losing all their games, 5 of them. Whereas Ecuador have been very much the team of the moment, I guess, in South America, apart from Argentina, who haven't had a bad year either.
Certainly give them a lift in if they can hang on, and it's been a good performance as well, we've got to say, from Chile. They were the better side in the first half. Maybe not the first 10-12 minutes of the second half, but they bounced back. Fantastic second goal. At the moment they're looking like they're heading for all the points, but things can change very quickly in football, as we know. And this Ecuador side has come from behind before when they've been down to 10 men and actually won games, so they won't give up, they'll keep going.
Yeah, they've got pretty used to playing with 10 men lately. They even had someone sent off in one of the friendlies they played in America, actually. Here's De La Cruz. If anybody can make it happen for Ecuador, he can. Pedro Reyes at full stretch. And Henriquez will keep it in. Valenzuela. And Ecuador going to make another change. They're going to bring on a striker, not surprisingly, as they are a team in need. Emilio Ordinev will be coming on soon. Osorio. Aros. Cambio. Ecuador face Colombia next, and that will be an intriguing match for their coach, Gomez, who is Colombian. A substitution will be made before the free kick is taken. And Tenorio, who's interestingly enough on a yellow card, is coming off to be replaced by Ordinev, who was the second highest scorer in the league in Ecuador last season with 24 goals. But he's only really made fleeting appearances for his country in recent times. They could do with a goal from him now, though. Well,
they need a gamble. I think the coach, Dario Gomez, knows that, and they may as well lose 3 or 4-1 as lose 2-1. So he's taking the gamble. He's going to push an extra striker on, and let's see if it works for him.
Well, it certainly would be a turn-up if Chile record a victory in the opening game of the Copa America. Colombia against Venezuela coming up a little later here. Barranquilla. The opening ceremony too. Espinosa. Aguero. Obregon. Shaking off Corrales. Fernandez. Away from Delgado, the sub Ordinev was also in there, loitering with intent. Get on. Up towards Delgado, and here is Ordinev. Oh, he tried to set it up for Sanchez, and maybe might have been a little greedier. Hurtado.
I wonder will he get a better chance than that, Ian?
Well, Chile are on the prowl again with the man who scored that wonderful goal, Montesinos, and now Corrales. And that's not bad either. Another goal of the highest quality. A world-class finish from Corrales. And Chile, who've had a desperate, dismal year, are getting off to a winning start in the Copa America against the odds, and they've done it in the grandest of style.
Well, these goals are all sucker punches, a good counter-attack movement, but look at that with the outside of the right boot, and the goalkeeper comes across with the wrong hand for me, Ibarra. But it's a fantastic finish, as I said, Ian. 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow shirts, but nobody is near Corrales. Outside of the right boot, and he bends it into the top corner. It's a fantastic strike, but it's a real killer blow for Ecuador.
You scored a few like that in your time, didn't you?
I'm just happy when they go into the back of the net. That was real quality though on the finish. He picked the spot and he knew what he wanted to do. I'm just surprised they've been caught in the counter-attack so quickly. Ecuador, you know, and there was a need of urgency to close them down, and defenders didn't get there quickly enough.
Well, Chile have been absolutely amazing, and when you bear in mind that they had lost their last 5 games coming into this tournament. But to be fair, we scoffed at the coach a little bit when he said that the spirit in the camp was good and that the players were looking forward to the challenge. Well, okay, he was right. Valenzuela. They're after another one now.
Well, he knows his squad better than we do, Ian, and got to hand it to him, he was right. Well, look at the angle again, and I feel he should have been closed much quicker than that. And the goalkeeper, for me, goes down very, very easily. He's got to come across with his right hand, and I think it's a soft goal that they've conceded.
Well, a little message for the coach there, I'm sure, from Corrales, who was left on the bench to start with. But he's certainly made his mark in this opening game, which has been a fine contest, and it's going against the form book at the moment.
There's a lot of players that the public back home in England won't know an awful lot about, and I said at the start there's going to be some names come to the fore, and we've already seen tonight 2 or 3 names for the future to keep an eye on. Certainly in Scotland they'll be looking for Ulises de la Cruz when he comes over.
Ecuador really rattled now and looking like a beaten team. Here's De La Cruz trying to inspire Ecuador to greater things, but they trail 3-1. And we have seen some breathtaking goals in Barranquilla this evening, and there might be some more to come in the Colombia-Venezuela game. Nobody gave Chile much of a hope in this one. Certainly not many are giving Venezuela much of a hope, but you never know. Here's Garon, away by Reyes. They lost the plot, Ecuador.
They have to a certain extent, but you've got to give credit to Chile. I think they've looked very well organised right from the start in tonight. That's another good challenge. And again, the coach, when they looked like they were going to lose it, when it went to 1-1, he got the substitutes on, he made the right changes, and they've produced the result.
Corrales is in the mood for more. Valenzuela, and Osorio couldn't quite return it. Sanchez taking the direct routes. Certainly Ecuador running out of time. Ecuador are going to have to come up with some sort of result against Colombia on Saturday, which will be easier said than done. Host nation will fancy their chances, even though they haven't had the best of times in their World Cup qualifying group. De La Cruz, the man from Hips, looks like he's going to be on the losing side, although hang on, here's Delgado. Fernandez, corner.
Soft shot throughout the game has Sergio Vargas. Very vocal and very animated.
Ecuador need to get something from this corner. And here, it's just been rattled wide by Espinosa, I think it was. Up from the back. He stayed there as the corner was half cleared.
It was Giovanni Espinosa. He hit the strike like a defender as well, didn't he? Leaning back, and it's gone over the crossbar, but all to no avail. I just do feel overall Chile's been the better side, Ian, and right tactics, right changes at the right time.
Chile looking for number 4. Corrales. Oh, Montesinos again! He has his second of the game, and Chile are 4-1 up in a quite remarkable opening game in the 2001 Copa America. Ecuador have been swept aside.
Well, I think it was a calculated risk. I said when they were 2-1 down, the coach had to gamble. He'd rather lose 3 or 4-1 as lose 2-1. Well, he's going to lose 4-1 now. They took the gamble. Good play initially here, but look at the finish from Montesinos. I've got to say, he's picked his spot, and it is a great finish. Super left foot, no chance for the goalkeeper.
Well, it makes you wonder just how Chile have lost their last 5 games for a start.
Well, Corrales has come on and he's made one and scored one, and you know, they really have turned this game upside down. Well, they had six chances and scored 4 goals. That's a fantastic strike rate.
It's a quite sensational scoreline, really. Oh, there might be more to come here. Delgado, but credit to the keeper, who had to be brave then, and he was, because Delgado was ready to give it his all, and I think Sergio Vargas is just pointing out that he didn't need to be quite so enthusiastic. But Montesinos has 2 goals already in the Copa America.
Contender for the top goal scorer, 2 goals.
Well, it's all over, and Chile have thrashed Ecuador by 4 goals to 1 here in the opening game of the 2001 Copa America, and we saw some goals of breathtaking quality along the way, and rest assured there'll be plenty more to come. The first match ends Ecuador 1, Chile 4.
Was threatened at one stage to be switched to another venue, then postponed until next year, and finally reinstated, all in the space of a few weeks. We can now look forward to some exciting football, South American style. And certainly the tournament has been off to a flying start with a somewhat surprise victory for Chile over the in-form Ecuador. And the formal kick-off, although of course that took place a couple of hours earlier when the first 2 teams in action fought out that 3-1 result in Chile's favour. Well, the first appearance of the host nation is always a significant moment in any major championships, but never more so than here in Colombia tonight. The image of this nation has really taken a battering over the last few weeks, and now there's added pressure on the players and the administrators to get it absolutely right over the next 18 days. The men in suits have got to ensure a trouble-free, efficient tournament, while the men in the football jerseys must do their best to guide Colombia to the final in Bogota on Sunday, July the 29th. The President of the Republic of Colombia, Andrés Pastrana, makes his way back into the stands, having made a short welcoming speech to this full house crowd inside the stadium here in Barranquilla. Certainly Colombia should have no problems getting through these early stages. They've been placed alongside theoretically weaker opponents in Group A. Venezuela, who they face tonight, are the lowest ranked of all the competing nations in the Copa, and certainly they would expect to beat Ecuador. Chile, however, will prove to be their most difficult opponents, and it's the home nation who get us underway. Colombia in the yellow jerseys and blue shorts, Venezuela in the all-red kit, and Colombia straight onto the attack, and an early problem already for the Venezuela defence here, and a very nervy start by them. The goalkeeper rooted to his line, and very fortunate, I think, in the end to get away with a free kick when they really looked all over the place. Vallanilla, the right back, the player who was foul there, but the very first cross, Ian Dowie, caused all kinds of panic in Venezuela's defence.
Yeah, and I didn't like the look of the keeper Dudamel there. No real decision making, not strong enough on the cross, and he was a bit fortunate to get the foul against Valenilla, and really a good positive attack from Colombia, and they will certainly be wanting to take the game to Venezuela early on, and I mean they're very much considered to be maybe the favourites even to take the whole Copa, so this is vital they get a good start.
As I mentioned, Chile will be the biggest barrier between the Colombians getting through to the quarter-final stages, and in fact they don't face them until the final group game next week. By then, Colombia's place in the quarter-finals could already be secure. But reality, very different to theory in football, and the Colombians are bound to be feeling nervous in this opener against their near neighbours, Venezuela, who've never beaten them in this competition.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because they went so close in the World Cup qualifier not so many months ago when they were 2-1 up with some 5 minutes left, and ended up drawing 2-2, and that cost Garcia his job, and Maturana, who seems such a prodigal son of Colombian football, came in and sort of restored a bit of zest to the team. But you did see a little bit of interpassing there between two Colombian players. They really did pop the ball about. I think it was Restrepo and Casillas, and it was an excellent passing move, and they've got that ability to keep the ball and certainly play open and attractive football.
Game taking place here in 30-degree temperatures in Barranquilla, in the far north of Colombia. It's a busy port on the Caribbean Sea with the hot and humid conditions you'd expect from that location. And the pitch perhaps not in the best of condition, having already had a match played on it a couple of hours ago. Then the opening ceremony with literally hundreds of dancers out there and musicians as well. The surface looking a little uneven as Paez, who's the son of the Venezuela coach, is brought down and earns a free kick for Venezuela. Pretty obvious foul there by Ramirez.
It's interesting you say about the coach Paez there. I think he was one of 11 brothers. There could have been a whole team of Paez's playing. So, it's a bit of pressure on the young lad, but I think he like the other fella, I think the Peru's coach Uribe has a son in the team, so he's not alone, and I'm sure he'll be feeling a bit of empathy with the fella from Peru.
Here's defence dealing with the first problem. I think I said that Chile won 3-1. It was, of course, 4-1. The final score as Noriega's through ball caused the problem. Rondon almost onto it, and Cordoba had to be out quickly from his goal then. And strangely enough, neither defence has looked particularly secure in the opening minutes here, Ian.
No, they both look a bit all at sea, but certainly, again, you see a long-range free kick taken out, and no real danger yet. There seems to be a bit of panic, as you say, a little bit of nervousness about the Colombians, a little hacking the ball everywhere. And you've seen that with the first clearance from the Venezuelan team, and again, they look very, very nervous in clearing their lines, where you normally see composed defenders with these South American teams.
Stadium here, one of the newest in the country. It was only built about 15 years ago. There's a capacity of around 50-odd thousand, and Colombia will play all their opening group matches here before moving south for the quarter-final, if, of course, they qualify. Pioneer gets it back again, the right back for Venezuela. Colombia have never before hosted this competition and have never before won the Copa America, and they're under pressure again here as Rondon threatens their goal. Cordoba's challenge, and then the other Cordoba, they're not related. The goalkeeper comes out to make a catch.
Tell you what, it was a lovely little ball by Paez there, slipped Rondon a few beautifully, and you wonder where he'd take it first time. He actually tried to go around the defender and eventually hit a decent cross that the keeper Cordoba did well to keep his hands on.
Playing a 4-4-2 system. Indeed, both teams expected to start with a similar formation. And the quality of the crossing is causing a few problems for the respective defences early on here.
It's interesting to say about the formations, Alan, because although a lot of people consider it to play 4-4-2, I think Colombia will play more like a traditional, famous Brazilian side play, and they're playing like 2-2-2-2 right up the middle, and Gonzalez and Cortez will bomb up and down the wings. They'll start full-back 1 minute, next minute they'll be up like playing as almost out-and-out right wingers and left wingers respectively. So, the two holding players will be Restrepo and Ramirez, and they will sit in front of the back two centre halves and hopefully stop any sort of balls getting to the Venezuelan frontmen.
Rondon caught by that challenge. Alexander Rondon, who plays for Caracas, and headed Venezuela into the lead in their recent 2-2 draw with Colombia in that World Cup qualifier that Ian Dowie mentioned a moment ago. A result that prompted the resignation of the Colombian coach at the time, Garcia. Colombia, of course, has produced several world stars over the years, the likes of René Higuita, Carlos Valderrama, Freddy Rincon, we all remember them. The big names in a squad that reached the final stages of the World Cup. No fewer than 3 successive tournaments. This present Colombian team, much younger, built around a sound defence that includes Ivan Cordova, the centre-half, who plays for Inter Milan.